hoping to get help for her parents, 9-year-old sister, and 14-year-old cousin, who were all killed in the crash.
She obviously wanted us to find her family, and she did tell us that she feared that they were dead, but she was hopeful that they were only sleeping.
We now know the plane took off from Key West, Florida, Friday night. Dad in the pilot seat taking the family home to Illinois. Just before 6, he reported engine problems, losing contact with air traffic controllers. The plane crashing down, landing upside down. Sailor suffering a broken wrist, using her uninjured arm to climb out, emerging from the plane into complete darkness, 38 degrees and misting. Wearing shorts, a t-shirt, and just one sock. From the air, we see her journey. Flying over this area, you can see lots of hills. You can see creeks. In fact, we're told that she actually had to work her way through a 12-foot creek bed. Ending up at this house, Larry Wilkins answering the door.
He thought her arm was broke, and her left foot was hurting pretty bad.
Her survival against all odds.
The seating in this aircraft is 2, 2, 2, and 1. So if she was in the very back of the airplane, the impact of the aircraft cushioned the blow, and it could have allowed her to survive.
What a nation calls a miracle, bringing a lieutenant who's seen it all to tears.
To see this little girl walk out of there and survive that crash.
Just absolutely amazing. Very, very much so. I've got an 8-year-old little girl. I can't imagine her going through what this little girl went through.
I think a lot of parents in America are thinking that.
Absolutely. Hug your daughters and sons.
And so right now, that big question, what exactly brought down that plane? Investigators will try to find out by examining that wreckage for days, Tom.
Gio, thank you. And tonight we're learning more about the little girl's future. We just heard the details of how she survived the impossible and now has to face life without her parents. So who is caring for the 7-year-old and what's next? Here's ABC's Gloria Riviera.
In this small-town community, the loss of the Gutzler family touches almost everyone as they come together in support of a very brave little girl.
I know that there are absolutely no words to explain why this would have happened. Please keep a sailor in your prayers as well.
Members of the family's church describe them as full of warmth, their home always open to family and friends, now bereft.
It's a community tragedy and one we're going to have to battle through to overcome.
Sailor's father, Marty Gutzler, well known to be an experienced pilot, an instructor, the family often flying together. Their pastor telling ABC News that may be what saved 7-year-old Sailor.
Her father gave her the survival skills and taught them what to do if the plane went down.
Sailor now joining a very small group of sole survivors, like Austin Hatch, who lost his family in 2 separate crashes, stunningly walking away both times.
I think God had his hand on me, and I think there's a plan for my life.
It's believed family members are now caring for Sailor, whose resilience saved her and will be key in her recovery. What is this little girl facing right now?
Well, it's overwhelming to her, and at this moment I would expect her to be in shock. I think the fact that she's young will actually help her to recover, because if she's given the right support, she will be able to move ahead and have a life that will be happy.
Experts say there is a lesson in this sad story to teach your children emergency planning. Tom, even kids around Sailor's age or younger, and she's just 7, experts say can learn how to save their own lives.
Those lessons paid off. Gloria, thank you. And bad weather appears to have played a role in that crash, and there's more wild weather across America this weekend. Tornadoes confirmed in Mississippi and reported in Georgia, overturning this RV and injuring at least 2 people. Part of a storm that's moving east. And from Texas to the northeast, winter storms making trouble on the roads. On I-90 near Albany, New York, a serious 12-car pileup. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is here. Rob, what are we looking to as we move into the post-holiday work week?
Now we're looking at big-time cold. The difference in temperature between Minneapolis and Miami tomorrow morning will be over 100 degrees and some snow. Take a look at the map. A mess tonight in the Cascades. We'll get over a couple of feet of snow across the northern Rockies. And then this Alberta Clipper will bring lighter amounts, but still significant to Chicago and Detroit. And then behind this, some cold air, and it'll come in 2 waves. The first wave will bring wind chills that will be minus 30 and minus 40 come tomorrow morning, and the second wave will bring even colder temperatures midweek, and more people get a chunk of this, Tom. New York City Thursday morning, wind chills minus 10.
Minus 40 though in Duluth. Wow. All right, Rob, thank you so much. To Indonesia now, in a breakthrough this weekend, searchers spotting pieces of the missing Air Asia jetliner at the bottom of the sea the biggest piece today, but weather forced yet another delay in reaching them and those all-important black boxes. ABC's Mohammed Leela is there for us again tonight.
Today, investigators found what they say is the biggest part of the plane yet, 32 feet long. Along with 4 more bodies and a new report from Indonesia's meteorological agency offering a controversial new theory, saying weather likely triggered the crash and that icing could have broken the engine on the plane because of cooling.
When you talk about icing, certainly engines on an Airbus do not ice up. And secondly, you don't have an icing situation that would normally be a hazard to an airplane like this.
It's now over a week since the unthinkable happened. A plane with 162 people on board literally fell from the sky. But the facts so far don't provide many clues for why it happened. What we do know, a week after the plane disappeared from radar with 2 American ships assisting in the search, just 5 large parts of the plane have been found, with more than 120 bodies likely at the bottom of the ocean. Investigators are now focusing heavily on that area where they found those big pieces of debris. Divers have tried to go down, but they've had to give up. There's so much mud down there, they could hardly see a thing. Tom?
Mohammed, thank you. Back here at home, the NYPD has said goodbye to a fallen officer for the second time in just over a week. Some 25,000 officers from around the country, a sea of blue, attending the funeral of Officer Wenjin Liu, who was ambushed and killed along with his partner. But as Mayor Bill de Blasio delivered the eulogy inside, officers outside turned their backs on him again, refusing to put aside their anger, even on this solemn day. And in Boston tonight, the trial of the man accused of the marathon bombing is set to begin after a judge denied his appeal for a delay. Jury selection in the case of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev starts tomorrow, almost 2 years after the worst terrorist attack in the U.S. since 9/11. ABC's Mara Schiavocampo has a preview.
Most recently seen in a rare court appearance last month, accused Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is reportedly being held at an army base in near isolation, preparing to face a city united in seeking justice.
It'll bring up a lot of what happened, obviously, 2 years ago, and a lot of emotions.
Just 19 at the time, Tsarnaev is accused of carrying out the worst terror attack on U.S. soil since 9/11, along with his brother, killing 3 and injuring 260.
We have movement in the boat.
Days later, Tsarnaev was found wounded and hiding in a boat. His brother Tamerlan killed after what officials say was a prolonged shootout with police. He now faces the death penalty, extremely rare for a federal case. This one also one of the largest ever. The initial jury pool, 1,200 people. Only those willing to impose the death penalty can be chosen.
They try to destroy people and their spirits, and all this has done is make me want to change the world.
An emotional time for survivors and a city. Mara Schiavocampo, ABC News, New York.
In Washington, President Obama is back from his holiday vacation, hopefully rested up, because Tuesday, Republicans take charge of Congress for the first time in 8 years. ABC's senior Washington correspondent Jeff Zeleny is at the White House tonight. And Jeff, what's the first issue they may tangle over?
Good evening, Tom. One of the first fights is actually an old fight over immigration. But with Republicans firmly in control of the Senate, they believe now they can start rolling back the president's executive action on immigration that kept nearly 5 million undocumented immigrants from deportation. But Republican leaders say they're going to try and squeeze the funding for most of the immigration programs. That funding actually runs out in February, so there's only about a month to do this. But, Tom, the White House believes they're on solid ground here, so this is one glimpse of one of many confrontations to come in this new divided government. Tom?
A busy few weeks ahead. Jeff Zeleny at the White House for us. Jeff, thank you. Also tonight, we're remembering a member of our extended family, sportscaster Stuart Scott, an ESPN original, whose broadcasts were as electric as the games he covered. And we're not alone. In Indianapolis today, a moment of silence.
A moment of silence.
At the Bengals Colts game, 60,000 fans and players observing that moment of silence in his honor. His good friend and GMA anchor Robin Roberts now with the man who could call it like no one else.
Sports Center starts time right about now. Booyah! Call Canerkel Butter, because he is on a roll. Derek Jeter in first. Booyah!
More than being in the right place at the right time, he was a new voice for a new time. Booyah.
Booyah.
That's it.
That's in a
In a
word.
word, that's what he brought to Sports Center.
From his language to his look, his personality to his passion, Stewart connected with the audience and broadened it at the same time, creating his own place in pop culture.
Hey, welcome to Sports Center. I'm Stuart Scott.
I'm Stuart
Scott.
Booyah! I got you.
Watching him as a black man,
hearing
things that I talk about with my other friends, and feeling like, I'm part of the conversation.
He sat down with two presidents, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, and conducted one-on-one interviews with some of the biggest names in sports, including Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. Stewart's path through work and life changed in November 2007. Doctors discovered a tumor. He underwent 2 surgeries and months of chemotherapy, and believed he'd beaten it. 4 years later, in 2011, the cancer returned. Stewart faced it again, and again it returned in January 2013.
When you say you think it's something that you're never going to get, you don't want to know the prognosis. It doesn't really matter to you?
I don't want to know how many years you think I may have left, how many months you think I may have left. Let's say it's stage 4. Well, it's just going to make me scared. More scared. I don't need that.
In the midst of continued chemotherapy treatments and medication regimens, Stewart took to the gym.
Feels good to be winded.
Yeah.
Having trouble breathing.
Yeah.
Chest hurts.
You're alive.
A lot.
Home for Stewart held the greatest and most important purpose in his life and his fight, being a father.
He would always talk about him because there is heart, so much pride.
Instead of sending you home tomorrow, I get to go home with you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. On July 16th, 2014, after 21 years on the air, Stewart was in a different role, not anchor, but inspiration.
It is my profound honor to present the 2014 Jimmy V Perseverance Award to Stuart Scott.
When you die, it does not mean that you lose cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live. He made sports even more fun to watch. We thank Robin Roberts for that tribute to her friend. And the tribute's still coming in tonight. From LeBron James on Instagram saying, "Can't believe you're gone from us. I am deeply saddened." Even President Obama weighing in saying, "I will miss Stuart Scott over the years. He entertained us, and in the end, he inspired us with courage and love." We have much more ahead on World News tonight, and up next, when a thrill ride turns truly terrifying. What you need to check out before you grab that zip line and take that leap. And taking a leap of their own. Wait until you see what this pride of lions does to this drone. Welcome back. A woman who fell from a zip line ride in Alabama is recovering in the hospital tonight. She fell nearly 30 feet during a family trip over the holiday weekend. Zip lines are quickly becoming more and more popular for adrenaline junkies and even children. But how safe are they really? Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
Before launching herself on this Alabama zip line on New Year's Eve, Tabitha Baker says she was worried something wasn't quite right. Then, this. She ended up with serious injuries. It's not clear why she fell, but the zipline operators say there was nothing wrong with her harness. What? Zip lines are popping up across the country, both outdoor and inside shopping malls, like this one in Orlando, where 52-year-old Robert Belvoir fell to his death on Christmas Eve. His family is reportedly suing the owners, who have expressed deepest condolences and say, "We are cooperating with all investigations." In Las Vegas, a stuck zip line Friday, 80 feet up, left a tourist dangling.
I don't know if he was praying or what, but I know I would have been.
When it comes to zip lines, there is no federal safety oversight. Standards vary from state to state. The industry is mostly self-regulated, and inspections are often conducted by insurance companies. The zipline industry estimates there are more than 500 million rides every year, less than 1% resulting in an accident. Thomas Smith runs Palisade Climb Adventure in West Nyack, New York. His advice, make sure your harness feels tight, and before you take off, take your feet off the ground, putting weight on the harness to make sure it holds.